Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm gamesplaining Tiny Epic Quest.
Tiny Epic Quest is another game within the Tiny Epic series. So Tiny Epic Defenders, Tiny Epic Kingdom, Tiny Epic Galaxies. It's the most recent addition to the series by Scott Olms. So if you've played other members of the Tiny Epic family, you'll already have a vague grasp of what you're going to get in the box. It comes in a small box, but it has a heap of game, thus the name Tiny Epic. These games tend to emulate larger games, but by using small cards or cards that will be placed around the table instead of a board. So they're able to fit everything in that smaller box to make it work. The bit that's really special about this one is they've developed a different type of meeple that holds items. So it's got a special name. I think it was Item Meeple or something to that effect. If I've got that wrong, please forgive me, and you may comment below to say what the actual name is. But let's keep moving forward. In this game, it's a 1 to 4 player game. I haven't played as 1 player. I've played it as 2 players. I haven't yet played it as 4. I've actually only had 2 player games of this, and it works fine. In essence, it's probably best described as a tabletop version of Zelda. You've got a world that's set up with these cards and you're exploring the world. The beauty of the game is the way in which movement happens. So each player has 3 meeples that start in the same spot. That's their home castle. There are 5 different movement options. So the first player will select one of those movement options, then every player in turn will have the chance to move one of their meeples in that direction or that way. Then the next person will choose another movement option. Out of the 5 available, only 4 of them are actually going to happen during any one game. So if you're in a 2-player game, each of you will end up choosing 2 of the actions. If you're in a 3-player game, the first player will get a chance to choose a second action. And a 4-player game, each person will only choose 1 action. So there's a lot of thinking with the selection of your action, because there's a whole bunch of stuff you're going to want to do, but it's a matter of working out what each of the other players is most likely to want to do as well, so what action they're most likely to select, so that you can gain the benefits from that when they do so. So the actions are literally move up or down the board in a north-south direction, move east-west along the roads. Rivers are north-south. You can move in diagonal direction with a griffin. You can move 1 square in any direction by walking, or you can move by boat around the coast. So if you're already on the coast to start with, which is the edge of the setup of the tableau, if you're already on that edge, then you can move one of your meeples to any other card on an edge of the tableau. When you move to a card, you are selecting either the left side or the right side of the card. So each of those cards is split into 2 parts. And some of them you'll action straight away because they've got text that say do this, and that will give you benefits maybe to other meeples, or you'll be able to move other things around. One thing that I neglected to say in the Gamesplanation is those spots are limited. There's different icons saying what different types of people can be at a spot. So some of them you can have 1 from each player at that spot, or some of them you can only have 1 meeple at the spot. Some you can have 2 meeples, but it doesn't matter where they come from. So there's some iconography there you just have to watch out for. I haven't come up against that being a problem in the game. I just neglected to say it in the Gamesplanation, so I do apologise for that. Let's keep moving forward. Please watch out for that and make that change in your head when you get there. I hope you watch this video first. When you select that space, you're selecting spots that are going to be able to give you points by the end of the game. So there's 3 different tracks where you're trying to get points. Now, you're not moving anything down those tracks, it's just if you've moved this far through or done this many times on this particular thing, you'll get points for it. If you do nothing on one of them, you will lose points. And some of them you've got to do 2 or 3 things before you actually get into positive points. There's the spot where you can go to attack goblins or fight the goblins. If you defeat a goblin, you get to take that. That will make you stronger, and also that will add to those points. That's one of the tracks. One of the tracks is that you can discover temples, and as you discover temples, actually that's not on one of the 3 main tracks. That's a track on your own board, and you need to discover them in your own order, and each player has a different order in which they want to discover these temples. Discovering temples all comes down to, in fact, fighting goblins, discovering temples, and the other one of discovering magic all come down to the roll of dice. Now, I'm not usually a fan of dice rolls, but for some reason this just works, and I found that Dice rolling in the Tiny Epic games just seems to work. It's definitely got input randomness, but the way in which it's worked out seems to make it okay for me. I've got this problem with dice rolling. You may have heard me talking about it in previous videos, where I just dislike dice rolling as a general mechanism. But I've discovered through listening to podcasts and kind of really delving that I don't mind input randomness, it's output randomness. So if I roll before I choose what I'm doing, I actually quite like that. If I choose to do something and then I roll, I don't like that as much. What this game does is it's output randomness, but it's press your luck output randomness, which comes back to the I like side. And what that means is once all of the 4 actions have happened, you've moved you guys around, you'll have different meeples on different spots around the tableau that are doing different things. And you roll these dice. Each of the dice has 5 dice. Each of them has 6 different sides, thus 6-sided dice, that do different things. Now, there's an order in which things happen at the beginning, and then you can work out whatever you like. But those dice will allow you to move further through the temples if you find the icon that you're of the temple track you're staying on. There's 2 different temple icons. They will allow you to attack those goblins, and you need to hit the goblins so many times before you kill them by seeing those goblin faces. And everyone who has those is in those positions will benefit from doing that. So if you've got 2 different meeples on different tracks with the same icon and you roll that icon, then both of them are going to get to move. There's also ones that have negative effects, so the angry goblin face will actually take away your health, but it doesn't take away everyone's health. It takes away the person who rolls it. The first die will take away that player's health. If there are 2 of those angry goblin faces, then it takes away the person who rolled it, takes their health, and the next person in line, and keeps going around the circle until it wheels back. There's also one that will help you increase your power or push your power marker back up the track, and when that happens, it's the same deal. Whoever rolls it, if there's 1, the person who rolled it gets it. If there's 2, the person who rolled it and the person next to them, etc. I actually really like that mechanism. It kind of mitigates the potential of having 5 hits against you in one go. But you can select to stop adventuring at any time. And when you select to stop adventuring, you come out of the circle. So if I rolled 4 goblin faces while everyone's adventuring, everyone's going to take 1 hit. If I roll 4 goblin faces once 2 of the players have stopped adventuring, then both the players left are both going to take 2 hits. If I'm the only guy left and I roll 4 of those goblin faces, I'm taking 4 hits. So I'm very likely going to exhaust myself and die. When I say die, you're not thrown out of the game. You just go back to your starting position, everything comes back, and you go back to your starting health and power. So it's not a huge loss. It just means you didn't actually achieve anything. But achieving stuff is really the goal with this game, because there are only 5 turns. There's 5 rounds in the entire game. 5 rounds of 4 movement, roll till you want to stop rolling. And that's the game. It's simple, but it's tough and thinky, and you've really got to be aware of that pressure luck element and not push yourself too far if you want to achieve. Plus, you've got to make sure that you're keeping track of those spots where you're going to get points, because you want to make sure that you're pushing up on them as far as you can and utilising all 3 of your guys as much as possible to push up those tracks. The one I haven't spoken about was magic. You need to roll a certain number of mushrooms, and that moves this track, this marker along a track. And if you get it to a certain point, you're allowed to move 1 spot further up from where you are on the magic book track. If you get it 2, then you're allowed to do 2 up. If you go 3, you can go 3 up. Now, the further up that track you go, the more those goblin faces will hit you, and hit you hard, especially as you get towards the top. But you need to select, before you even hit that track, you need to select which of the magic tomes you're trying to get to. So there's little icons. You've got to find them on the tableau and get your meeple there. So if you select a meeple that's 3 books further ahead along the track than you are, then you've got to, if you really want to get it, you're going to have to stay there and keep rolling until you get those mushrooms. But fortunately for you, everyone's rolling them. Whereas if you select a book that's only 1 further up, and you happen to stay in the adventure until it gets 2 or 3 further up, you still only go up 1. So there's that real press your luck kind of element, and you're pressing your luck before you even get to it, because you're kind of deciding and committing to, I'm going to stay in this until we get that mushroom track all the way up to wherever I need it to get to. There's a couple of other things that you're able to do, and the items, when you get them, will give you bonuses. So you've got a few items down on your own board that you'll get once you've discovered the temples. And there's also these quest cards, and quests will come to you, or you'll be able to achieve them if you. There's some that you would need to achieve temples. So once you've finished a temple, you'll get to take that quest card. And on a lot of these quest cards, there is a. Every one of them has a bonus, but a lot of them have an extra item, and that item will do something cool. And those items go straight on into little spots on your meeples, and you're basically wielding a weapon as you walk around, so you can select which meeple to go where due to the weapon or the item that it's carrying, which will enable to do certain stuff. The other types of those quests are for getting your meeples into certain positions or moving them in certain directions, and every one of those quests. I think there's only 3 available at any one time, but they're available to anyone to achieve. And as soon as someone achieves them, they claim it, we turn over a new one, and we can go after that as well. So there's a lot of game here, a surprising amount. I really, really like this one. I actually own the entire Tiny Epic series. Tiny Epic Quest is the first one I've really managed to get to the table properly. I think I'm going to work back through them and try and get them all up to the table. I have had to go at the Tiny Epic West, and I found that a little bit too finicky and clunky, I guess, to explain. I think once you know it, it'll run well. But Tiny Epic Quest just feels like it runs really smoothly. Like, understanding the rules, not the simplest of events, but once you've got them, it actually runs really clean and really smoothly. So I think this is a definite game that you should look into and have a play of and see if you like that type of game. It fits into a lot of different spaces for me, and I quite enjoy it. So please go on and watch my Gamesplain and then watch the Gamesplay. You'll get a real good feel for it out of the Gamesplay, as with most of the games that I run through. So if you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you've got any games that you wish to be Gamesplayed, please shoot me an email at thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @thegamesplainer to see what games I'm playing. Check out my blog, thegamesplainer.wordpress.com, to read about my adventures in gaming each week. And subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaying. So until next time, enjoy gaming.